Hey guys, we're going to start off our geometry stuff with points, lines, and planes. And these are things that you should already be somewhat familiar with. We're just going to be a little stricter with things. This is geometry class, so we have to be a little more particular with what these things are, how to identify them, finding them in the picture, naming them, things like that. So, some of this stuff I'm going to go, since it's a recorded video, I'm going to go a little quick on a few things because you can pause it, you can rewind it. And some of the things I'm just going to let you read, which means, if I tell you to read something, pause the video, read it, review it, make sure you understand it, and then move forward. So let's just jump right into things. So again, we have to know what these things are. Point. Again, you should be familiar with this. You've been plotting points on graphs all the time, and it's named by a capital letter. A line goes on forever in both directions. Pay particular attention to how they are named. So this line right here has 7 different ways of naming it. So we can name a line using any 2 points on that line in either order. Or we can use a lowercase script letter if it's provided. We can't just make it up because everybody would pick a different letter. But we have a line. We have a line segment, which is really just a section of that line between 2 endpoints. So we don't care what happens to the left of letter A or to the right of letter B, but we care about everything between A and B up to A and B. So it's called a line segment. And we can name that using the endpoints, and we can write those in either order. Be careful because the way we name things, the way we write things matters, whether it's capital or lowercase, whether it's script or print. So we need to be careful here. And I will go into that a little bit more in just a minute. We have things called a ray. My old geometry teacher used to say rays of sunshine. They start at the sun and they go forever in one direction. So it starts at A and it goes forever in one direction. Now, this one, we got to be a little careful with these rays. Ray AB and ray AC in this picture are the same ray. So it all depends. However, there is nothing in this picture called ray BA because nothing starts at B and goes through A and keeps going forever. So rays get a little tricky. Luckily, we don't really work with them much past this chapter. We just have to understand what they are. And we want to understand that opposite rays form a line. So if we have opposite rays, like we see here at the bottom, they will form a line. Just means that they both start at the same point and go on forever in opposite directions. So here we start at B and we go through C forever, but we also started at B and went through A forever. So we have opposite rays, and they have to form a line. And finally, we have a plane, which we know is a big flat surface, a desk, a wall, floor, ceiling, big flat surface. We can draw them, and we have to draw them with boundaries so that way we can show what is on the plane or not on the plane. So in this picture, A, B, and C are 3 points that are on the plane. I can add a point like D that is not on the plane. We're going to talk about that also. The way we name a plane, we use the capital letter that's provided, if it's provided. So in this case, plane L. And notice that that's a capital script letter. The way we write things matters. So we have a point. If it's capital print, it's a point. Lowercase script is a line. And capital script is a plane. So we could have point L on line L, which is on plane L. And we have to know that they're different things. The other way to name a plane is by using 3 non-collinear points. So we're not going to call it A, B, and C. It's plain ABC, or we could use the icon. Now, that means we have to know what non-collinear means. So really, this is the introduction point where we start picking up our vocabulary for geometry class. And we see that on the next screen. Collinear means on the same line. Non-collinear means not on the same line. So any 2 points will form a line. So 2 points are always collinear. That doesn't really help. So here we could have points A and B. We can say C is collinear, but point D is non-collinear compared to A, B, and C. So these are comparison terms. Are they all on the same line or different lines? And along with collinear and non-collinear, we also have the terms coplanar and non-coplanar. Again, easy terms to understand. They really mean the same thing. Things that are on the same plane, things that are not on the same plane. Okay, so you have a window on one wall and the bed is on the floor. Those are not on the same surface, so they're not coplanar. On the other hand, you might have a picture on the wall that you also have a window on. Well, the picture and the window are coplanar because they're on the same plane. So that's what it comes down to. And once we know what these things are, we want to understand how they intersect. So if we look at a picture like this, 2 lines intersect at exactly 1 point. But what if they didn't intersect? What's it called if they don't intersect at all? So we can have things like parallel. Parallel means that they're going in the same direction and will never touch. We could have planes that intersect, like the wall and the ceiling, or the floor and the wall. So we can say that those planes will intersect along an edge. So we think about it as a segment because it doesn't go on forever. Your wall is 10 feet long or 14 feet long. It doesn't go on forever. But in geometry terms, we can say that these things go on forever. We can't measure things that go on forever. We can't work with things that go on forever. So we don't really measure a line. We measure a line segment. Well, same thing here. So think about the floor and the wall, and they intersect along that edge. But we have to have ways of showing things that are on or not on that plane. So if you look at this picture, look at line L. It's completely inside the plane, the drawing of the plane. So it's on the plane. M is completely outside. So it's considered not on the plane. N is the confusing one. We should never be drawing things like this. But if you look at line N, it looks like it's along the edge of the plane, but planes don't have edges. So that's a problem. What we want to do is avoid this. As soon as you see the drawing go past the edge of the plane, so you can see where it looks like it's drawn past the boundary or the edge of the plane, that means it's not on the plane. So my pen just stopped working. There we go. So as soon as it's drawn outside the boundary of the plane, we would say it's not on the plane. We could also have intersections of planes and lines. So if you think about this, we have part of the line that's solid. That means it's visible. We have part that is hidden, right? Or dashed, right? So dashed means it's hidden. It's in the back. And look at right there where it changed. So at point A. So what we have here is line N intersecting plane P at point A. So it comes down, it punches through the surface, and it keeps going like a telephone pole. It punches through the surface of the ground and keeps going. So again, we want to know what these things are and be able to identify them and name them correctly. So you should pause the video and try these questions. and then come right back. So you've tried them. We want to name a few things. So naming a point, we have a bunch of points. We have like point A, B, C is a point, D is a point, E is a point. F is not a point. G and H, those are not points. So we named points. Naming a line. Well, we've got two lines in this picture. We've got line AB, because it goes on forever in both directions. And we could also call it BA. We could also call it line H, the lowercase letter that was provided. And then we've got the line that looks like it's going up and down, right? So we can call it line CB. We could call it line DC. There's actually 6 different ways to do that if you look back at the previous slides. And we can also use the lowercase g. A line segment. Well, a line segment just means a part of the line between 2 points. So, for example, the part between C and B, or the part between A and B, or the part between D and C, which includes point B. So there's a bunch of different things we could do here. The plane, well, the plane, we could say plane F. That should technically be a script F. We could say plane F, again using the little icon, or we can use 3 points that are not in a line but are on the plane. So look at that picture carefully and decide which points are on the plane and which ones are not on the plane. I see 3 that are on the plane, A, B, and E. And I can put those letters in any order. That does not matter. And finally, an endpoint. And an endpoint is the point at the end of a segment or a ray. So A, B, C, D, E would be incorrect because it's not at the end of anything, it's by itself. Okay, so again, a little chance to refresh ourselves on what these things are, get a little bit tighter understanding since this is geometry class, and be ready to move forward.